Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we're back for another brand new video, and I think I might be making a mistake already in the video because I'm coming into talking about a game versus Hearts for the first time this season with a sprinkling of optimism and, dare I say, excitement based on the foundations that's now just been set by the Rangers manager a couple days ago. The first time versus Hearts. The last time we never done that, and then we farted out a goalless draw and a really poor game of football. But there is that sense of optimism and, again, excitement in the air. How long for? Well, that's up to Phil. But I guess I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. That's in the Rangers side of the video. That's not what we do right now. It's time to transition into the oppositional preview and have a look at tomorrow's dance partner, which is, of course, Hearts that we've already previously mentioned. Now, we are facing it for the second time this season, but trust me, there has been a lot that's happened to Hearts Football Club since we saw them on opening day. So strap yourselves in. If you didn't mind hitting the like button, that'd be greatly appreciated, or subscribing if you're new around here as we go and talk about a Hearts side who at my current time of recording are sitting 11th in the table. Aye, 11th. And you know, I feel like Hearts being poor this season is sort of maybe the worst kept secret in Scottish football, because if you've been paying attention to anything or even glancing at the rest of the table or the rest of the news in Scottish football, you've probably heard about Hearts' winless runs, their losing streaks, sacking Naismith, bringing in a new manager. There's been a hell of a lot of talking points and they've been dominating a lot of the news outside, obviously, the old firm, as it has just been an absolute mess so far, and it certainly didn't look like it was going to be that type of season before a ball was kicked. Let's remember the expectations and let's remember what people were saying about this Hearts side that solidified third place last season. Were expected to not only get that again, but to push in and try and close in on the gap and get in to the top two. They were the media darlings before a ball was kicked. Then a ball was kicked and everyone went, oh god, they're actually pretty guff, and that's after a goalless draw at the start of the season versus us. That's the last time we saw Hearts. We saw the expectations, we saw how great they were. Now we're seeing them here and it's completely crumbled down to dust. And what it's a kind of a point of view, or depending on how you looked at it, starting the season off, gone away to Tynecastle with the mess that we were actually in, what looked like a decent draw versus a Hearts side that's going to be there or round about the old top three, top four, is actually looked significantly worse as the season has went on, because after getting a point versus us, do you know Hearts never won or even drew another game over their next 9 matches, as they lost their next 8 in a row. Yes, troops, through the first 9 weeks of the new season, the only team not to beat Hearts was us, unfortunately, and that's including the likes of Falkirk and everyone let in a cup game, and it wasn't like a lucky game despite Hearts obviously missing a sitter early on in the game. Falkirk actually deserved to win that, and you sit and look at the run they went on, loss after loss after loss. Every competition they played for, it just got more and more embarrassing that we were the only team for the first 9 weeks of a season not to beat them. The likes of Motherwell, Dundee United, St Mirren all turned this Hearts side in to their punch bags before they went on to lose against the likes of Celtic, which you're always expecting a Hearts side to lose to Celtic. But at the same time, as you think of last season, their performance and their record and some of the points that they picked up versus Celtic, which ironically built the expectations which they have failed so far this season, you're expecting them to turn up in the big game, if you will, but they never. They just got ran all over, as this Hearts side just looked truly lifeless in that match. And that's maybe the perfect summary to actually give this Hearts side so far, is lifeless so far in this season. It was clear changes were going to eventually be made and everything like that, and something needed to be done, but more importantly, something on the part needed to be shown, and it took them all the way to their 10th game until eventually they showed something and stopped the bleeding and stopped their losing run. And do you know the other squad that got the exact same result as we did? Do you know the other team that got the exact same amount of points of Hearts as we did through the first 10 weeks or 10 games of the season? It was big old Ross County, and you know what's mad? Ross County actually deserved to win that game as well, but it took a 96th minute equaliser from Lauren Shankland to stop the actual bleeding and inject something in to the Hearts season. And to be fair, it did, as it started at least a little bit of a run as they went on to win 2-1 in the Europa League the next game, get that first win of their season on the 2nd of October, show a wee bit of sun, and you start to say, right, they've had the bad run, are they going to start to turn it on now? Are they going to start to look like the dangerous Hearts side we all know they can be? And when you look at the players that they've got, they should be. And they flirted with it as they got another good win in European football. They then drew, or snatched a point, I'd say, in the Edinburgh derby, in which they certainly deserved to lose, as Hibs, especially Dwight Gale, missed several clear-cut opportunities. But Hearts grabbed a point. You're saying, right, they've got the grit that they never had this season. That's them now, broke their undefeated, or best undefeated streak at the season of 2. They're now out 3. Were they able to carry that on? Well, it looked like it as they were against Kilmarnock, and they went in at half-time 1-0 up, looking pretty good, again starting to feel good about themselves. Before a cheeky dirty double in the old second half, Kilmarnock forced a 2-1 loss down Hearts' throats. Trust me, we also know, unfortunately, how that felt before beating St Johnstone 2-1 and then losing again in European football in their most recent game on Thursday, actually losing their first game in the all group stages, if you will. But that gives you a perfect little summary of what the story's been like at Hearts. It started off with a kind of that 0-0 draw versus Rangers, okay, I think. Then they had a horrendous run, then the wee flutter with a change, then back down here. Now they're just one punch, bang, one punch, bang. That's kind of how they've been. And I guess the big question is, how and why is this happening? And truly, I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm just a Rangers fan. I'm looking at it from the outsider's perspective. For me, I've sat and looked at some of the performances, and I think a guy's name that needs to be mentioned, is the likes of Lawrence Shankland. That's a guy that's been heavily spoken about a lot, not only in this channel, but in any Scottish media, how much he's been an impactful player year upon year upon year in Scottish football. But he's been, mentioned once so far in this preview video. And do you know why he's only been mentioned once so far? Because all he's scored is 1 goal in 17 games this season. This is Lawrence Shankland we are talking about. This is the Scottish hitman, if you will, of last season, the best player in Scottish football. That's the award he won. Now you sit and look at him, and for me, he's a perfect wee example of a couple things that we're going to speak about, maybe what's gone wrong at Hearts. Again, just from an outsider's perspective, there seems to be that up and down with every sort of Scottish team, you know what I mean? When they reach maybe how high as they can actually get the third and everything, like get a wee bit of European football, do this, that's them, you know what I mean? Them is that's as far as they can go as a club, because they're never going to break the top 2. Let's stop the silence. They're never actually going to go ahead and do that. And I think that Sutton mentality is it hunger. Sutton goes away, because you see it with every team, Aberdeen, Hibs, Motherwell, Hearts. You see them constantly go through the exact same cycle, pushing up, pushing up, pushing up. Then they get there, then there's always that season regression and a wee bit a buckle down. We've seen it with the likes of Kilmarnock and that as well. It just seems to be the Scottish football-ism. You can't just break beyond that glass ceiling, if you will, and it seems to affect them the following seasons. And also, when I look at the likes of Lawrence Shankland, I look at this as for a Rangers fan. I see the stuff that's said about him. He's overweight, he's slow, he's he's no hungry anymore, he's no want to be here. And I sit and look and say, by God almighty, I've seen this story before. And for me, Hearts have made the cardinal sin, if you will, by not selling their players when it's the right time to actually sell them. Sell them when he wants to go as well. What I think's actually happened there is they've kept the player longer than he's actually wanted to be at the football club, and he's not fully tuned in and everything. Whether he's the captain or not, whether he does this, maybe whether he scores tomorrow or not. It's quite clear Lawrence Shankland isn't the same animal, if you will, as he was in previous years. And I've seen this before. I've seen it with Alfredo Morelos when we've kept boys till. I've seen it with Cant. I've seen it with Kamara. I've seen it with boys constantly. If you didn't cash in, and if you try and price these boys out of moves, or if you keep them longer than what they should be and keep them beyond their sell by date, they go off so damn quickly. And I just look at Shankland, I just see he's a shadow of himself, and I think that's a laddie that Disney want to be there anymore, that Hearts have priced out a move, or maybe no sent him anywhere, or not even just the Rangers, but just try to move him on there. They had the perfect opportunity, no, they've kept it, and he looks laboured and again lifeless. It looks like he's just ticking down the time until he signs a pre-contract in January, whatever team he's going to sign with. That's how I see it, as again from an outsider's perspective. And again, I've seen my club do it time after time after time with player after player after player frustrating, absolutely, but again, it is self-inflicted, and that's just what I think's wrong with Hearts. They've just kept too many players for too many years. They've started to go off now. They've been wanting to move on. Their eyes are wandering, and that, trust me, bleeds in to the rest of the group. That slow, lifeless nature and everything that didn't want to be there spreads so damn fast, and I think that's maybe one of the reasons why Hearts have been so poor this season. But again, that's just my opinions on it. They're still a dangerous outfit, especially in the old big games, if you actually will, and it would be no surprise to me if they actually turned up and played well tomorrow, because again, that seems to be their MO whenever they play. But again, this is a side that's been so damn poor this season. Rangers should be licking the lips, especially at old Ibrox. But that's been the old tale of the tape, ladies and gentlemen. That's the story of Hearts, how I feel Hearts have been. Now it's time to move away from the Hearts end and get to the old Rangers side. And as we do go ahead and get into the old Rangers side of the video, just a wee brief thank you from me to thee based on the feedback in the last preview video. As I asked you a couple questions based on, are you still happy with the format of the video and everything like that, and I'd say 99.9% of people were happy with the way the previews are, and sort of get what I try and do here on the channel by giving you fresh stuff to look at, try and break down the opposition. Then we always talk about Rangers, we're always going to do that, that's what we all love. But again, I didn't want to just sit here and repeat the same stuff every 3 days and really bore you that way, so that's why I've sort of structured the videos that way. And again, 99.9% of people were complimentary and making sure I didn't change the preview video, so I greatly appreciate it. I heard all your words, didn't worry, nothing's going to be changing. It was just played on my mind as I've seen a couple comments, people saying, oh, there's more time in the opposition, the Rangers, is this no, are you not supposed to support Rangers? I've seen a couple wee things like that, and it just started to play in my head, was I giving you what you actually want to see? And I had to ask the question. So thank you for all your feedback. The preview videos will be staying the same. Will this Rangers side? I certainly hope so from old Thursday. And I think I'm going to pick off sort of where I ended in the last sort of Heart side of the section. Sorry, remember how we're talking about how poorly they're being? They're limping into this game, that we should be licking our lips playing this Heart side. That's truly what I think this game actually is, right? Because I know the mentality will be, it's just after Europe, it's got to be just getting there the line, it's got to be just getting a 3 points up the road type win, and I do understand that, and if that's the way you want to try and look at this game, I get it completely. But for me, that draw is full of them this season. It's just getting there. Oh, look at that, it's an ugly one. Oh, ugly, ugly. We'll play better another time. We'll play ugly. A better November, better November, better November. Well, it's November. Am I wrong to expect something a little bit more? Because to me, coming into this game at home, hosting this side that is limping as badly as that, I feel like we should truly have the killer instinct in our brain to sit here and say, it's no just about getting the 3 points. This should be a performance to the fans that we at least have something, and that's going to be the mentality. I didn't want to hear, oh, the 0-0 draw versus Tynecastle was a good result at the time, or anything like, because that gets me feeling sick when I hear people in Rangers tops or Rangers managerial suits sitting here talking about draws are good results when you're in a Rangers team. It's no, and that mentality needs to be ripped for the actual building. It's got to be about wins, and it's got to occasionally be about the performance. And again, we've got a wounded animal coming in to Ibrox and Mora, so for me sitting here, I didn't think it's too much to ask to expect a wee bit of a killer instinct and go and turn it on the Mora, because not too long ago we played a Hearts side who at the time was the single most informed team in Scottish football. They came to Ibrox and we turned them over 5-0, and that's when they were absolutely flying. Again, statistically, through the 3 months up to that period, was the most informed team in Scotland. So is it too much to ask, now that we're playing the exact same Hearts side who's looking lifeless and really, really struggling, we should have the exact same mentality, and that's what we should be striving to see. Again, that level a domination, I don't think it's too much to ask, especially at our house. And again, I'm not trying to come across here as spoiled or a bratty or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm certainly not being disrespectful to the opposition. I just want to see a bit of respect from the actual team on the park and just see a wee bit of sun, because limping over wins is fine during periods. You're always going to have that, but we keep getting told we're going to be better in November. We're going to be better in November. Well, it's November now. Can we start to actually see it. And again, I'm feeling a wee bit boosted for Thursday. The big call that was made regarding Tavernier getting bombed out the starting 11 for Sterling starting, who again, for me, for every minute he was on the park, he was the man of the match. I thought he was absolutely excellent. And just the way the midfield, that Raskin and Barron partnership just injects life into what was, again, a previously laboured Rangers side. I'm feeling better now when I look at this team, and I just want to see that foundation that was set on Thursday continue to be built upon rather than chipped away or start filling in with crap that's no gonna make this house much stronger, if you actually get my drift. I want to see Sterling start again. Whether he played 50 minutes, whether he can only play 60 minutes at all, I'm fine with that, because the other substitution that was made as well, with Nana coming in there and playing at the right back spot, if we want to do that again, I'm completely fine with it. But again, we need to keep that going, because again, what that does is it makes everybody in that dressing room fear for their starting spot, which brings up the energy level and gets everyone motivated to play. We cannot take the jersey off Sterling now. If he's fit and he can go, he's earned that jersey. What a message that is to everyone else in the dressing room to pull their socks up and earn it, because even the captain can stay out the starting 11. But if we revert back to familiar failures and we go back to putting players over the club, again, it could cause an absolute disaster of a season and possibly a disaster of a result. Whether how poorly Hearts are playing or no, they can turn up in the big games, we know. And if we sit there and throw out the old white flag by putting in players and trying to do the old favours act and everything, that could be catastrophic to our run and catastrophic to, dare I say, the positivity that's been built, even though it was a draw at Olympiacos. And I know what I said earlier about draws in domestic football and everything, but again, that's in domestic European football where we are. I can take it now and again, but no domestically, ladies and gentlemen. So I feel positive about what I've seen. All I'm asking for from the Rangers manager is to keep that going and have a starting 11 picked tomorrow that's all earned the jersey. Then he just hand it to somebody. And now that Danilo is allowed to play, obviously wasn't played on Thursday, that conversation needs to be had. Whether or not Dessers scored midweek yet, again, I know he scored in his last two, he was the reason we didn't lose the game on Thursday, right? He 100% was the reason we didn't lose it, but you know, he was also the reason we didn't win it, and two of those can be true at the same time. And for me, that perfectly summarised the way Dessers actually is. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 golden opportunities before he puts one into the back of net. Our standards need to actually rise, and I'd love to see Danilo start this game of football again. 50, 60 minutes, whatever he's got in the tank. Play the guys that are impressing for me and could be moving this club forward. And for me, it's an easy job for Phil. Pick pretty much the exact same team, maybe a rotation. Well, Dessers. But again, this is pretty familiar stuff, but I'm just feeling a bit positive right here, and I just felt like talking about it. And for me, that is the challenge that needs to be set. He's made the big call. He's made his bed now. It'd be nice if he lied in it for a little bit and didn't overthink it. Oh, well, we're playing against the Hearts side, playing poorly. This maybe gives Tavernier the best opportunity to score or assist. Again, we're not getting blinded with that. We aren't blinded with the Dessers stuff. You know what I mean? If you just keep rolling the dice, again, eventually Dessers and Tav will score, but it's the games that they've lost us and the games that the points have gone that aren't forgotten any longer. They can't trick us anyway. We're not getting the wool pulled over the old eyes. We're no daft anymore. The foundations have been set. Please, Phil, just build on for it. And again, we are stronger coming into this game because we've got the likes of Hadjev. Diamandi's blowing out his arse. We know Lawrence is obviously out. We're seemingly allergic to playing Barami in his natural position, but considering what else is there at the left wing spot, I can't handle Ross McCausland playing there out of position. There's too many injuries down that side. Maybe now that Ridvan's back, we could eventually play Big Jeff at left wing, but you want to interrupt that considering the Barami-Jeff partnership's been so good. I suppose you could argue, well, maybe if Jeff's up one and Barami's in his natural position, it could be even better. I get why people say that, but for me, I'm fine with Barami playing out in the left right now, who also needs to buck up his ideas, as his last performance wasn't great either, by the way. But if Diomande needs a wee bit of rest, bring in the likes of Hadji. Keep the talented players on the park, and again, keep a carrot dangled in front of everybody and say you need to work your arse off if you want to be in this team. And the wee two yins in the middle of the park, Barron and Raskin, for me, set the tone and everything. the way they approach it, the injection they've gave the fan base. For me, they'll set the tone again tomorrow, and if it is going to be a success, it'll come down to a lot of their hard act and their graft that they actually put in. And I'm predicting a win tomorrow. I think that's made it pretty damn clear, but I would love to see a performance again. It maybe suggests with how iffy we've been, how spotty we've been in terms of our form, how hit and miss his Heartside's been, how hit and miss they've been with their form. It should be maybe an ugly game, especially on the back of European football, but I've seen enough ugly games. I would love to see one great one, and for me it gives an opportunity just to keep the motivation up there to go out there and attack this Heartside from the first whistle to the last and just put out a performance. So I'm going to go a wee bit bigger than I normally do right here. I'm going to go Rangers 3, Hearts nothing. No quite the 5, but I'll take a cheeky 3 nothing if it's possible on the old cards. Didn't go the other way. I really couldn't handle that. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. That's my thoughts and opinions going into this game. To finish up this game, empty the tank. We're going in to an international break. There is no reason to be cautious or anything with players. Go and empty your tank. Play up to the level, get a performance over the line and show us something that yes, the penny's finally dropped. It's all starting to change and Phil might just be the guy. Please didn't revert back and just try and chuck one out for Tavernier just to try and give him one to Hearts. We didn't need a gotcha. We need leaders in the old Rangers manager dugout, and that would be great to see. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. That's my thoughts and opinions on the game. What about you? Let me know your opinions down there in the old comment section below. And as always, I will see you tomorrow after the game. I've been CJ92. Thank you so much for watching. All the best and bye-bye.